not doing the same thing, but
No,
the
no,
idea of being
no,
an
no.
actor in your arsenal is this stuff.
Yes.
So it
And
will
you
make
want
it
it,
better.
I mean, you can look here, even though we haven't talked to any of these guys about it, you'll notice the difference. Can you guys see these guys on? Well, look at the difference between where they put the camera away from themselves. I don't know any of features. If I were to see her on the street, don't know. If I see Todd, you see how he's done that? That little difference is night or day. As a casting director, you could shoot the scene like this. I lose all subtlety. I'll get intonation changes, but here with Todd, he moves one eyebrow. I see it. So that, like, these are the stuff we'll go over today. But the other thing is, the room full of people, this sucks to be in the situation. It's high pressure. You should be nervous. You should be sweating. That's good. This is what we're talking about. This doing and working through it. And why did I suck? And we got laughs. I didn't. This worked. That didn't. And whatever. We want it to be. We're trying to replicate that to a certain extent just by the doing. So it's okay to feel all that stuff, but that's kind of what we're after. And just to, and we may give you adjustments too. Like I think it's a better choice. Ricky hates the idea. Let's try it and see what's better. I mean, this to me is, you learn by doing when you're in the hot seat, but if you're not paying attention and just focusing on what you're doing, you're going to miss out when I'm with Bridget, when I'm, with Tom, there's a lot to glean from this, right? So just, I know you're multifaceted, like I'm on deck, I'm nervous, but it's okay too.
I'm going to plow through just some nuts and bolts stuff, some bullet points. Unless you're asked otherwise, the default is to shoot landscape. I know it seems counterintuitive because our bodies are built this way and you think, I want them to see more, but if I'm seeing this much, I'm this wide and there's a lot of dead space left and right of me, right? But that's the default. That's how they're viewing it on the computer. They would have to specifically ask for portrait or vertical.
But it's a new thing
which is
out of China.
Yeah.
Of way non-union actors could get work.
Doing vertical
shorts.
right. But for auditioning, the default is landscape. Just be aware of that. And given that, like we were saying about Todd, you want to be framed from just below the bust to a little bit above your head. Okay, it seems tight. And if you have business, and Peter and I can talk about, yeah, you got to pour a drink, you got to do a thing, whatever. You might lose some of the business, or you might have to cheat some of it up into frame if you're doing something or loading a gun, whatever you got to do. You might have to cheat things in a slightly different way. That's why you want to practice in front of your camera.
And the other thing is, you should know where, when your camera, Ricky, do you have your camera? Put it here so you can show it. Somebody.
I got mine.
You should know where the lens is on your phone. And you don't want to do what's called, when you're on the set, looking down the barrel. You don't want to look at you don't want to look at the person, but you want to be.
Oh, I got to go this way.
Yeah, Rick, come on.
I just learned that.
You want to choose. So this is a big thing. Now, part of what you're going to do when you self-tape is you have to find somebody to read with, right? Now, there are a lot of, this is where you network. You find somebody, right? It's like, hey, I'll read for you next week. So they're behind, and often, if I'm reading, this is a shitty, Ricky and I will do this. So Ricky, sit there a sec. So if Ricky's reading and I'm reading with him, and I'm going, hey, what are you doing here in town?
I'm here to
You see how fucked up his line is? Whereas if I come like this, you go, all right, what the fuck are you doing in town?
So
now
you want your sight line to be extremely close to lens. Because, and this is something to experiment with. If I look 5 degrees off, it looks like 20 degrees. If I'm 20 degrees off, it looks like 50 degrees. It's very deceiving.
So if I'm hanging here, Ricky can catch my eye and play to me.
Right.
And he's not down the barrel.
I'm not looking at the lens.
He's not that. You don't want to do that. It's very unsettling to casting directors to have you be going, hey, why are you doing this?
Oh, yeah.
If they don't like it, my experience.
Yeah.
And I've been told this by casting directors. But so have your person who you're doing with just hang here and here close enough so it's a help rather than a hindrance.
I would differentiate that for commercials. Commercials, the default will be to look at lens.
100%.
I love this can of soup. You're talking to the proverbial listener,
Right.
or viewer. So you never want to look at lens unless it's written in the script, hey, I'm doing a monologue to my alter self and I'm looking at the monologue. That will be a very specific direction. Sometimes the ergonomics of where you're recording is your reader can't be right next to Lens. So Peter might be sitting on a couch because that's the way my room is, and this is up against a wall. I have to put a piece of tape on the wall, and that's Peter. I'm looking here, I'm listening from over here. It's hard to resist the temptation to look at the guy who's talking, but I got a little smiley face, stick it on the wall. That's my dude who's just off my lens.
Another thing is you want a neutral background. Don't shoot this. This is a perfect example of what not to shoot in front of. Because you don't, you know, if people are talking about the toaster, your audition's screwed, right? What a wonderful tapestry. What was that? Right? So you can do two things. Take a bed sheet and take thumbtacks and you could put it up there and it's a bed sheet, right? You do that and just take it up and down and it lives in part of your arsenal. Or there is on the modern iPhone, you can blur the background. That's also another way to cheat. That's fine too.
Yep.
Either one of those things.
For
But
today,
you want-
this is
you
pretty
want
good
to
framing. I mean, this
you
is-
want to have total focus on you. So you know the space that you're working with emotionally, it doesn't matter what you're doing on the page. You know, again, you're the bellhop or you're the mother of a murdered child. You want them to be sucked in here, not full body. I need to lift the child up and try to, you know, that's part of these auditions say, you know, picks up a glass and throws it at the bartender. You can do that sitting, you can do it standing, even if you're sitting, but picks up a dead child and carries it over his shoulder and what, you gotta futz with it. You want them, you gotta cheat this. They know you're cheating and that's okay. You don't need to do every bit of action that's on the page. What you wanna do is pay attention to what matters to you and your choices and what works, because you're trying to win a gig. You don't like, oh, I didn't pick up the kid at the right time for the line. Fuck that, who cares? The casters and producers know this is not shoot day. We don't care about that. What's going on here, right?
So you're cheating a little closer to lens. I'm framed pretty well. It's a little, you know, it's pretty good. It's kind of an up angle. It's not ideal. So if I'm in a bar fight in the scene, I'm going to give suggestion of one or two punches, but I'm not going to bob and weave out of frame and use the space. Like, you know, like I'm a quarterback. He runs downfield. You just can't do that. Okay. A couple other quick thoughts I'll share is, and there's a lot of debate about this and a lot of wiggle room for taste. Costuming and props. Like how much to suggest, when to use props, when not. You ask 3 people, you get 4 opinions. Okay.
And mine's right.
And Peter's right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But Ricky and I disagree, but we have different things, but that's for you. This is, as a guy once said to me, we're giving you food, you eat it, shit out what you don't want and use what's good for you. But that's the way you should be.
I might
Like,
describe it differently,
but
but
you have to have your own filters, like what works for me. That made sense. I keep that.
Right.
That makes you, right?
Yeah.
But to that end, to Ricky's saying, if you're playing a lawyer, I don't care, male, female, you're playing a judge, don't show up in a t-shirt.
Right.
You're killing it. And every caster I've ever spoken to is like, they just don't care. They don't get it. They don't give a shit. And that's what reads, not irritated that you didn't dress. He was a judge in a polo shirt. No. So if you work at Trader Joe's, you could,
boy, it's a callback. That's a callback.
But in the other thing is, it's minute, but if I'm playing, you know, a CEO of a high ranking, which is a lot of the crap I get, and I come in looking like this, not shaved well, that's disrespectful. And I would never occur to me until Cashier just says, it looks to me like you just don't care. You couldn't be bothered to shave for this, and it's stupid. But you know, you want it. Why? These are things you can do. So just take the time, take the energy, create the character. I find ties and jackets make the man. You know, if you want to, you're playing a prostitute on the street, look the part. It gets you into it. That's a good steal. I know that's my 2.
Can I ask a quick question or?
Yeah.
Is that okay? On those lines though, if there's nothing at all about the dress or anything, and I do get a lot of these, I just go with solid color, no jewelry, and then makeup to the characters. Is there anything more?
Yeah, I
that
mean,
we should-
flashy jewelry and big patterns is gonna
Right.
pop up
Unless
too.
it plays to the character.
Right. So, I guess that was my point too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if it's just me talking to somebody in a conversation.
Right.
Okay, all right, I guess that's what I'll.
I would say when there's specificity to something, like you're playing a cop,
Yes,
you're playing, I would start to go toward the word hint or suggest. If someone comes in a full rented police uniform, it's kind of like, yeah, you're now,
Overkill.
you're here to get the job, not do the job.
Right.
But I might wear a blue shirt, maybe a blue shirt and a black tie. It kind of hints at cop. If I'm playing a nurse, I might wear a white
Scrubs, if you have scrubs.
scrub shirt, something. So hinting and suggesting, because in the same line of logic, you've done the work, you've thought this out, you know what the perception is, and I would liken it to this. If you go to a live audition and you're ushered by a young Peter into the room, and you get to the doorway, and halfway into hello, there's a cast director, someone eating a lunch, someone running a camera, someone on a phone. There's 4 people in that room, but you walk into and go, hi. If I could freeze frame this hi, what percentage of my audition is over?
Yep.
Is it 0? No. Is it 100? Hopefully not. But their judgment meter started the first stimulus they had, which was the visual. And so in an equally palpable way, when that camera comes on and there you are, that's the judgment meter has begun. So be aware of that. Okay. Props. A lot of differing opinions on this. For me, if a character's on a phone, everybody got a phone. I don't need to see the fingers. Some people say do the fingers. I hate props. I've had cast directors say I don't like props. Okay, I didn't know that. My default is if it's a hand prop, I'm supposed to write something, I can use this thing called a pen. Any thoughts on props for you guys?
No,
No, I would say if it's small and not getting in the way, do it.
Yeah.
If it's throws a spear, don't get a spear.
No, no. But if it's,
You know,
but
I
if the
mean,
guy,
there's a big difference.
what if the character eating a sandwich? You're gonna mind?
So for me, we mentioned before, this is a great. I've done this where and it wasn't in the script, but I've done this where I'm saying something horrible to a character. I'm usually this is I'm a white dude, all the power, and I'm about to destroy someone's life. And I'm saying, really, Katie, on the thing, and I'm gonna rip you down, I'm gonna throw your life out the window. I don't fucking care about you, your family, nothing. I'm just gonna destroy your fucking thing. I don't give a shit.
With Trader Joe jokes?
If no, this is your dad. I'm gonna show your dad that. But if I'm like, if I have some peanuts, you know, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I don't give a shit. I'm gonna destroy your life. I don't care what it is. Now, it's an odd choice, but there's something to me that's so evil about someone doing something like, I can't stop eating this peanut butter. Now, I don't want it to get in the way of the words, but there's something so casual about, I'm gonna fucking destroy your life. And I just need, hold on one second, so sticky, the peanut butter. There's something that's evil about that. That's a big choice, especially if it's not in the script. But unless it's inherently part of your choice, don't do it with food. If it is integral to how you want to play the character, do it. Those are like your choices. But I think with Ricky, we agree less is always more. Don't get in the way of business because you don't want to, oh, right, that was the guy who ate the peanut butter like an idiot. Right? I mean, you don't want to be that guy. And sometimes it can be the thing that separates you. So it's a very fine edge on that sword, but it's about your choice. If you're willing to die with I'm gonna eat the peanut butter while I destroy your life, okay, you died on it. So what? If you're not, then don't do it. There's no do or don't. It's just like,
I would say I see the green light, the permission you grant yourself to do that is going to be very role and project specific. If you're have a 3-line role as a here's your tea, sir kind of role, you're not going, here's your tea, sir. I mean, you're not going to randomly inject something to be memorable.
Right.
Like, hey, I got a funny magic trick. You're not going to pull it, but if it helps add a dimension to the character, a demon-like character that is so callous that he would eat while delivering bad news, that adds a layer of non-negotiable traits to a character that help brand their particular use of evil, right? So that's an actor's choice, and it will make you stick out. And I'll turn this around from a casting director's point of view. Man, we sit through a lot of these in voiceovers.
same.
There are a lot of them are the same.
Fortune.
And so sometimes, the peanut guy. Sometimes, the peanut guys. I